So Mark, we paid our money, we're pulling in, what's next?
Well, depending on which bay the customer chooses to use, the one you're looking at here is our high-tech soft touch car wash. The bay over is for people that don't want anything to touch their car. It's a touch-free car wash. The self-serve version of this, you drive in. While you're driving in, it'll wash your undercarriage. You stop underneath what we call the gantry part of the machine. The car will stay still. The machine will wash over it. The amount of passes that basically you paid for, whether you wanted all the extras or not. When the machine's done washing, it'll ask you to leave, and then as you leave, you'll drive through the dryer and hopefully come back in a day or two to do it all over again. And I think we should probably talk about what's really special with this car wash is it's one of the few on the East Coast that have a very technological, biological water reclaim system that will just separate it from any other project that we've ever done.
So now Mark's going to tell us how the water gets reused in this aqua wash.
Okay, so as the car's sitting here and it's being washed, the water that goes on the car obviously goes into this trench system where we separate the first parts of any kind of particles that could be in the water, and silt, mud, any kind of dirt. From this point, it flows into a 1,000-gallon tank you see there with the manhole cover. Each bay has its own collection pit, just like that one. And then from each collection pit, we take a line to another pre-settlement tank, which is approximately 1,500 gallons. It's 3 compartments so that most of the silt gets caught in the first compartment and it catches less as you go. Also, that will act as any kind of trace oils that are on the undercarriage of the car will get caught either here or in this first tank and most likely never even make it to our 1,500 gallon pre-settlement tank before we even get to the reclaim system, which is approximately 14,000 gallons of stored water. If you want, we can go inside. I can walk you through the nuts and bolts of how the operation works. All right, here we are in the equipment room. As you can see, we're still finishing up the install on the biological reclaim system. The neat thing about this system is most of the equipment is actually out in the bioreactor and the aeration and the clean water tank, which are out underneath the parking lot. But in here, what we do is we return the water back, we separate through the cyclones that are not actually hanging on here right now, and send the particles back to the very beginning of the process. The other thing that we do in a biological system is anything that's natural helps the system. So we pump air to grow good bacteria so that they'll eat the bad bacteria. We keep the water moving, which also oxygenates the water. There's no chemicals or no filters in this. We're just using the natural process like you would see at a sewer plant to clarify the water. And the neat thing about the system, other than it being extremely expensive, is that it does clarify the water. If you put it in a soda bottle, it is clear. It looks like clean water. Most car washes that have what we used in the business we call water suckers, it looks more like mud water when they bring it back. So this is the new way of doing it. Across the country, it will be catching on, especially in California where water is an issue. The other neat thing about it, because we're monitoring the TDS, which is total dissolved solids, and the pH of the water at all times, they integrate a tablet into this door, and the people from Aqua Biosystems, which is out in Michigan, if we have a question about the pH or the TDS, they can actually dial right into it and look in each tank and see what process is going through the different sensors that are in each tank. So it's pretty cool. Let's go outside and we'll kind of show you what goes in the tanks. Okay, we're outside at the tanks for the biosystem, and I'm standing in front of the biogrid. This is actually where we grow the bacteria. The aerobic bacteria feeds off the air that we're pumping into the water, and it fights the anaerobic bacteria. There's almost an excrement that falls to the bottom, and that gets constantly pumped back to the beginning of the system and eventually dissipates. So we have, like I said before, a bioreactor tank where there's beds of this, and you can see them all stacked up here. That's what we call the bio tank. And then we have a clean water tank and the aeration tank, and then a first settling tank that the water comes into, and actually because of the height of the tanks, when the water is returned to that tank, that's actually the tank that the 5 or 10% of water that we don't reuse goes out to the sanitary sewer. So we're reusing about 90 to 95% in a car wash like this. We can use the water to rinse, which most car washes you cannot use reclaimed water to rinse. In some cases we can use it for some chemicals, to mix the chemicals. We're really on an automated wash that uses 70 or 80 gallons a car. We're only introducing about 7 to 8 gallons of fresh water, which mostly is just going into making the spot-free rinse. So that's pretty much it for the Aqua Bio Reclaim and Car Wash Systems Inc. and Craig, the owner.
So I've been very impressed with Wickersham and Car Wash Systems and KL Tyndale, the electrical contractor. The amount of knowledge they have and the detail that they're putting into this to make it really exceptional in terms of the atmosphere, the bio-reclaim system, the technology and the quality of the wash. They're gonna set it apart, and everybody knows that you've learned now that there's the full amount of water onto your car, but 80% plus is coming from a reclaim system. So you get the full effect with something that you can really believe in. So great stuff. Thanks, Mark.